Here is National Affairs correspondent Omar Sachedina with the key points in the document.
The first federal budget in more than 2 years contains $100 billion in new spending for Canada's post-pandemic recovery. The country's deficit is projected at $354 billion this year, $154 billion next year, and nearly $60 billion the year after that. Affordable childcare is a major plank of this budget.
After 50 years of talking about it and fighting for it, we're finally going to get it done.
A $30 billion investment over 5 years that will lead to $10 a day childcare by 2026. And by 2022, a pledge to reduce costs by 50%. The government is also pledging to extend key pandemic benefits. The Canada Emergency Subsidy will now expire September 25th, 2021, with a gradual decrease in the rate starting July 4th. The same extension will apply to the Emergency Rent Subsidy and lockdown support. There will be a 12-week extension to the Canada Recovery Benefit to a maximum of 50 weeks. After July 17th, it will be reduced to $300 a week, available until September. And there will be additional supports for workers and businesses, enhancing sickness benefits to 26 weeks starting next summer. A new Canada Recovery hiring program that will run from June to November to help employers rehire workers. Though if they use this program, they can't use the wage subsidy. The budget also places an emphasis on the climate and green technology, with $17.6 billion in new spending to support initiatives. A proposed 50% reduction in corporate and small business tax rates for companies that make zero-emission technologies like wind turbines, and $100 million for farmers this year that will be coming out of the carbon tax. And for homeowners, there is added incentive to go green. Interest-free loans of up to $40,000 for projects such as replacing drafty windows or oil furnaces. The budget does propose more for affordable housing, $2.5 billion over 7 years. But few focused measures to cool hot housing prices across Canada. Aside from a 1% annual tax for foreign buyers of vacant or underused properties, no new supports for first-time homebuyers. But there is more money budgeted for seniors who have suffered a devastating blow during the pandemic. $3 billion over 5 years to strengthen standards in long-term care, and $90 million over 3 years to help seniors age well at home by providing them with supports such as meals and help for yard work. There will also be a boost to old age security for those 75 and over, a $500 lump sum payment in August 2021, and a 10% increase starting next July. For students, loans will be waived until March 31st, 2023, and loan payments won't start until they're earning at least $40,000 a year, up from the current threshold of $25,000. And more money to address systemic racism, highlighted by this video showing Joyce Echequan, an Indigenous woman who died after hospital staff in Quebec hurled insults at her. Part of the $13 billion in new spending proposed over 5 years for Indigenous communities would go to foster health systems free of racism and discrimination, with other commitments to implement calls to justice in the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls report, as well as boosting COVID-19 supports. The pandemic again exposed significant racial inequities. More than $170 million over 5 years will go to gather better data that captures the experience of racialized groups. And there's also additional funding proposed for a Black-led philanthropic endowment fund to help combat anti-Black racism and improve economic outcomes in Black communities. As for new taxes, there will be a $4 increase per carton of cigarettes starting tomorrow, a new luxury tax on cars over $100,000 and boats over $250,000 starting in January, and also in January, a 3% digital services tax on large e-commerce businesses.
It's a big budget. It's big in size. It's it's obviously a heavy document, 700 pages. I've never seen a budget document that heavy.
With stronger than expected economic growth in the forecast, there will almost certainly be debate about whether this level of stimulus is even necessary. The minority Liberals need the support of at least one other party, Lisa, for the budget to pass.
All right, thank you for that, Omar.